All right, so hey everybody. I'm just looking out my window here and the snow is finally melting. I think we've had our last snowstorm for the year. At least it better be. Sometimes we get like a snowstorm end of March, so we will be prepared. Anyway, so today I'm hoping to answer some of your questions. It feels like it's been ages since I have answered your questions. So without further ado, we will get going. So the first one is, in Bruderhof communities, do you cater for vegetarians? Great question. So I'm pretty sure that there are people on the Bruderhof who don't eat meat, although I am not one of them. I enjoy meat, but that's besides the point. For those that are trying to avoid meat, I think that with like a little creativity, you can avoid meat at communal meal times. If you choose, like, there are mostly always like a meat-free dish on offer. And then there's always things like black beans, quinoa, and whatever vegetables are in season. They're always freely available, and you can certainly take those home and fix yourself a little vegetarian feast. But unless there's an actual medical reason for a diet like gluten or lactose intolerance, it would be asking quite a lot of the community kitchen staff to have to cater to individual dietary wishes. But I certainly do know people who are on a plant-based diet for health reasons. Okay, so for the next question, this was asked in response to a video I did almost a year ago, talking with a mortician when I interviewed or chatted with our community mortician. And so this person asked, can I ask why are other people asked to look after the older members when they have their own family members on other Bruderhof communities? So, great question. If it works for a family member to take care of an ailing or older family member, that would certainly be the first choice. Like, obviously, that would be the best. But sometimes that's just not practical for any number of reasons, which are probably the same for, the same kind of reasons for people who don't live on the Bruderhof communities and why they can't take care of their aging parents. But when that's the case, it's a wonderful gift that other community members will step into the breach and provide the needed care. One thing that I think is really cool is that often newly married couples who don't have children or other responsibilities, they'll take care of an older member, and it's pretty much always mutually beneficial. So I know a lot of people who've done that. So the next question here is, I am a midwife and I am very interested in your traditions around pregnancy, labor, postpartum, and breastfeeding. For example, do you announce pregnancy to the community? Do you have the option of a home birth? Do partners, sisters, mom attend the birth? Do you have paternal leave? So, whoa, that's a lot of questions. So no, we don't announce pregnancy to the community, which I really like, because it also is like, I think there's like a pressure that sometimes goes along with having to announce like every little step. I mean, obviously people will notice, but we don't really do a lot of talking about it. We rely on guidance from trained professionals in our community, so doctors and midwives, when it comes to the birth. Almost all babies, I would say, are delivered in the local hospital. It's just safer that way, obviously. And yes, husbands and oftentimes moms attend the delivery. And I can say that for both my boys, I definitely couldn't have done it without Chris being there, and his support. So after the baby is born, there'll be a couple weeks where the dad has a bit more of a relaxed work schedule, and he can come and spend time with the baby and mom, but there's not really an official paternity leave. And obviously if there's complications with, say a baby has to be in the hospital for a couple months or whatever, the dad will definitely be given a lot more leeway. So not a lot of big rules, if you will. So the next question is from Crystal. She says, I have a question. How are the children's birthdays celebrated on the Bruderhof? So birthdays are highly anticipated events. So the big day usually starts with like a celebratory breakfast where the birthday child invites members of her class, his or her class, to come and feast on goodies like Nutella crepes or Danish pastries, and in our family, our favorite is like, you know, like a coffee ring or like a cinnamon, what do you call those things? Cinnamon roll. But instead of doing cinnamon, you do brown sugar and butter and maple syrup, and you roll it up, cut it, and then it's so delicious. Total favorite in our family. Anyway, so they'll eat a birthday breakfast and they'll, you know, participate in opening presents. Since we don't have our own money to buy gifts, the people responsible for buying food and supplies will send over like this huge box of birthday treats and things to unwrap. Okay, and then the celebrating goes on throughout the day in the school. So a highlight for me growing up was being able to choose the game that we would play at recess. So I always liked tag on the climbing frame. I love that. Anyway, and then the Sunday following the birthday is another day of celebration, and families will often invite another family or your friends over for a party or dinner and games. I just have a lot of really happy memories of birthdays in my childhood, and I'm sure my boys will hopefully have the same. The next question is, hi Laura, apologies if you have already addressed this, but I have been so intrigued by your communities for a while, and I was wondering if someone chose to join as a young single individual, what would the rules be around having contact with family members who chose not to join? Is that allowed? So that's a really great question. So we try to keep relationships between family members living off the community and those living on the community as normal as possible, with visits, phone calls, correspondence, whatever, as long as there's mutual respect and regard. Contact is absolutely allowed and encouraged. Okay, so I hope that these answers answered your questions, and you can always feel free to ask more in the comments below, or if you have any more ideas or things you would like to see on my videos, feel free to give suggestions below. But other than that, I just hope you're going to have a great day and a wonderful rest of your week, whatever's left of it. Okay, so bye.